the leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
All right, folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Wow. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started. We believe in the American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag because we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. Never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights. We're Americans. We fish the waters and we hunt the lands. We forge the steel with our own two hands. With what we've got, we do the best we can. We're Americans.
It's time now for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show on K98 Talk. Now, here's Grouchy.
Good evening, everybody. So glad to be here with you tonight. We have a fantastic night. And before we actually get it rolling real good, if I can figure out how to work my iPad here, I have a question for you. Do we have any God-fearing, freedom-loving, flag-waving, gun-toting patriots out there? I believe we do, but right now, what I'm talking about is we're going to have a very special one live with us on June 22nd in 2 weeks. Did you like that theme song when we came in? Madison Rising does a great job with that song, and we're going to have their former frontman, Dave Bray, with us live on the air on June 22nd, right here on K98 Talk with the Conservative Curmudgeon Show. So mark your calendars. It's going to be a special night. We're going to be previewing one of Dave's latest cuts. I'm not even sure if it's even been released yet. I'm still waiting for that info, but I've got a copy of it. We won't be running it tonight, but we will be running it with Dave live on June 22nd, so you don't want to miss that show. Other than that, I hope you are having a fantastic day. And one of the other things I want to know is, do you believe that an individual's right to bear arms is a constitutional right? Well, the quote-unquote presumptive nominee for the Democrat Party... That's right, the truth meter. The truth meter going off. She had a problem when asked that question by little George Snuffleupagus on ABC on Sunday morning. She would not say that it is a constitutional right, but she did say that, quote, if it is a constitutional right, then it, like every other constitutional right, is subject to reasonable regulation. Now, I don't know about you. I don't like the sound of that coming out of her mouth. Okay? First of all, she won't even admit that it is a constitutional right. Second of all, she says that if it is a constitutional right, that it's subject to reasonable regulation. And we all know how the Democrats are with redefining words. I can see how reasonable will be redefined only as it relates to guns, not as it relates to crony capitalism like Hillary is so partisan to. And Hillary went on to say that what people have done with the Heller decision is to take it as far as they possibly can and reject what has been our history from the very beginning of the republic. She's actually putting out there that we're a republic. She's picking her words wisely. She knows it's getting to be that time. And then she claims that some of the earliest laws that were passed in our constitutional republic were firearms laws. Now, I don't know about that. I'd have to do a little more research into it, and I intend to, but somehow I don't think that was really high on the list of what the founders were trying to pass laws about early on. But, like I said, I'll do the research. I'll find out for sure. And then if we need to bring out the barking lie meter again. Oh, I caught him off guard. That's okay. Yeah, we can do that after I do the research. So Hillary says that she thinks it's important to recognize that reasonable people can say, just as she says, that responsible gun owners have a right, and she says she has no objection to that. But the rest of the American public has a right to require certain kinds of regularity and responsible actions to protect everyone else. Now, her ideas for what is reasonable, oh boy, wait till you hear this. Because she went into the Heller decision a little bit more. And she was talking about this, and if you're not familiar with the Heller decision, this is a Supreme Court case. This was District of Columbia v. Heller in June of 2008. And the court ruled 5-4 that the Second Amendment protects an individual right to keep and bear arms, although it said some restrictions are permissible. Now, they did not go into what those permissions are, but Hillary definitely elaborated on some of the things that she was thinking of, even back before the Heller decision, 15 years before the Heller decision. She supported, in 1993, a 25% sales tax on guns. And this was supposedly to, quote unquote, get some kind of handle on all this violence. So Stephanopoulos asked, do you still believe that? And Hillary began the backpedaling. She said, what I was saying back then was that we have a lot of public health costs that taxpayers end up paying for through Medicaid, Medicare, and uncompensated care, because that was in the context of the push to help defray those costs. She says she's not going to commit to any specific proposal. Shocking she wouldn't take a stand, right? I know. She said, I was speaking personally then. I would have to consider any proposal in light of how it interacted with all the others that we want to continue to advocate for. Particularly, as I said, comprehensive background checks. Now, Hillary doesn't know that there's already a law for comprehensive background checks. She may know that the law is flawed in some ways because she acts like it doesn't exist when it already does. Her idea on the sales tax, she claims, was strictly in the context of healthcare. which means that she would probably be open to imposing other type taxes on firearms and ammunition to help defray healthcare costs, which have most assuredly gone up since 1993, right? She said, when you have mass shootings, you not only have the terrible deaths, you have people who are injured. And then she careened off into, I was just in San Bernardino yesterday, and I met some of the survivors. One woman who was shot twice and had a series of surgeries. Two other women who were cowering in abject terror by the terrorists. So they were cowering in abject terror by the terrorists. Wow. Unbelievable speaker. You know, folks, in case you haven't heard me say this, we have 315 million citizens in this country. And our race to sit in the desk in the highest office in land, the most powerful person in the free world, comes down to an authoritarian asshole and a soulless, heartless, American-hating harlot.
Don't hold back, brother. Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it is what it is, okay? I have gone to the polls in the past, and I have held my nose, and I have pulled the lever. And I will not hypocrite myself, as I have said on a previous show, and I will go hold my nose and pull the lever on the conservative, well, on the Republican ticket, which is not conservative, but I will vote Republican because I won't hypocrite myself in that I have always preached that it is easier to get your agenda passed on Capitol Hill with somebody that agrees with at least a big chunk of it, as opposed to somebody that agrees with none of it.
So which one of them actually agrees with your agenda? I'm just curious.
Well, I'm not saying that anybody agrees with my entire agenda because they don't.
Well, no, I'm saying what's the big chunk then? Because that's the area where I'm on the fence this time because I've been preaching the same thing you've been preaching up until now. I can't do it.
Come on, you know where it is.
Well, no, I'm not asking for you to tell me. I'm asking in case people are on the fence like I am. Maybe you can dissuade or persuade them. So what do you feel like it is that Trump agrees with you on?
Okay. Well, first of all, I think that Trump will not be partisan to allowing people to inflict undue taxes on our constitutional right to bear arms. I do believe that Trump is a 2A supporter. So that in mind, that's one of them. Okay. I do know that there will be, and again, anybody that hangs their whole hat on any one of these items is an idiot. Okay. I'm sorry, but you are. Anybody that can collect a handful of ideas and know that you're going to have somebody that's in favor of those ideas, I think you know who you need to vote for at that point. The other one of the other items that I'm going to bring out is healthcare. Okay, and I know Trump has not spoken a whole lot about the tragic train wreck that is Obamacare. And if you weren't with me last week and you found out that the average premium increases for this coming year are 40%, that's right, 40, not 4.0, 40% is the average premium increase for the coming year for Obamacare. I happen to have a little bit of information coming from inside, well, let's just say, I get it from somebody who is inside of Trump's camp. And he gets it from somebody who is higher up that he works for inside of Trump's camp. So that being said, I have some of the ideas that are being bantered about for healthcare under Trump. And quite frankly, they involve what the AMA was pitching to Obama, which puts patient care back in the hands of patients, physicians, and families instead of death panels. So, there's going to be a couple more things. I'm not a big fan of Trump's tax plan. I'm hoping that working with a couple of people that are better situated for how those should fall out, that his tax plan gets tweaked. I hope that he looks to people like Cruz and Rubio, even though I know they're admonishing him right now over the idiotic comment he made about Judge Curiel. It was an idiotic comment, but I do believe Trump can get past that. He made a very good speech last night, stole a lot of thunder away from Hillary's night. Again, not a huge Trump fan, but I can hold my nose and pull the lever for him as opposed to, going to the dark side. I don't see another viable candidate that has the possibility of beating Hillary. Show me somebody out there that can pull 50 million votes that's not Trump running against Hillary, and show me their policies. And if they're in line with a conservative mindset, I'll vote for that person. But I'm not going to hypocrite myself. But anyway, that's enough of the side rant. We got to get back to Hillary and her trashing of 2A here. So anyway, and by the way, before we even get back into 2A with Hillary here, if you would like to further discuss these items, you can always, of course, reach me on Twitter. That is at TCC_Grouchy. I am happy to have a very honest and open discussion about Trump's policies, both pro and anti. I mean, I can go for or against. If you want me to talk about what I don't like about the tax plan, we can do that, but let's not waste airtime on that right now. Okay? I have some definite ideas on his tax plan and how they affect the lower middle class in particular. But, here nor there. Anyway, you know how to reach me now. Glad to have those discussions with you, whether you're for or against, whether you think maybe you could vote for him, but you'd like to know more. I will be happy to get facts for you and help you decide which way you should go. The facts should help you, not me. But anyway, okay, so back to 2A and Hillary here. So, she said, these women that had the surgeries, she said, what they talked about to me was where do they get the financial support to deal with the physical and emotional trauma? Okay, so first of all, why should they be getting financial support to deal with emotional trauma? Yes, it's traumatic what happened to them. It is an emotional time. People, you have got to learn that you are not entitled to jack crap. Okay? You have insurance at your job. Okay? Yes, I know you made copays, you paid deductibles. Crap happens. Crap happens. What do you want? You want the law-abiding people that own guns to buy insurance? Okay, great. So you want us to pay for the criminals' bad acts because we believe in our constitutional right? No, grow the hell up. Okay? And this is it. Hillary said, is it workman's comp support? Which is one of the arguments. Is it private insurance? Because they work for the county, something the county should pay for maybe. She said there are real costs that are incurred because of these terrible because of the terrible gun violence epidemic. It's an epidemic, apparently. We do have to deal with it, and the best way to deal with it is that the first time one of these jack wagons and their illegally gotten firearms walk into some place and brandish it and start pulling the trigger, they have about a dozen people draw down on them and put 3 pounds of lead into them. And I'm telling you, if that happened 4 or 5 times around the country, these jackasses would think twice before they're sitting at home in their boxer shorts and their wife beater t-shirt, playing with themselves while watching Ren and Stimpy reruns on Cartoon Network, and got their gun in front of them and thinking, I think it would be fun to go down to the local community center and shoot the place up.
Stimpy, you idiot.
I was thinking Ren and Stimpy, but maybe Pinky and the Brain. I just wasn't sure which way to go. I let it come natural, whichever it was. But anyway, this is absolutely ridiculous. She's wanting everybody. This is all socialism, folks. If you're not catching on to the whole theme, pay higher taxes on this, pay for insurance on this, pay for this, so that you can cover the cost of everything for everybody. Fuck that. I mean, just plain and simple. Excuse me, I don't like dropping the F-bomb on the air, but you know what? Screw her. It's crazy. And then she reiterated that she's not committed to anything other than what I've said in my campaign. But I do want people to ask themselves, can't we do better than have 33,000 people killed every year by guns and many thousand more injured? And she thinks we can. Hey, Hillary, how about 345,000 babies murdered every year by Planned Parenthood that gets billions of dollars in government funds? How about we do something about that? Huh? For the love of polyester in your pantsuits, lady, get it together. Now, in the interview, Clinton listed some of the quote-unquote reasonable and common sense regulations that government has a right to impose on the Second Amendment. Okay? And this is what she deems as reasonable and common sense. Okay? She says, I'm going to continue to speak out for comprehensive background checks. Okay? Already there. They just need the proper technical infrastructure to run those in a timely manner. Okay? Next up, closing the gun show loopholes. Already done, dumbass. Read the law. Next up, closing the online loophole. Again, anybody selling online that is a business has to be a registered FFA, and they can only transport or ship the gun to another registered federal firearms license holder. And I said FFA, didn't I? I meant FFL. Okay, so I'm a little fired up. Closing the so-called Charleston loophole. This is one I have not heard of. I don't know what I'm sure they're referring to the AME shooting at the church that Dylan Roof is on trial for now. And she says she wants to reverse the bill, and this is where she slammed Bernie. She said she wants to reverse the bill that Senator Sanders voted for and that she voted against, giving immunity from liability to gun makers and sellers. Okay, again, this is just another form of socialism. Okay, I think that she says, I think all of that can and should be done, and it is, in her view, consistent with the Constitution. No, it is not. If that is consistent with the Constitution, then automakers should be liable for anybody that crashes a car. Okay? McDonald's should be liable for anybody that is fat.
Hey, wait, no, maybe we should think about that one. I'm pretty fat. I could use some money.
You could use some money. Hey, look, as bad as you want the money, boss, I know for a fact that you wouldn't sit right knowing how you collected it, because you're a conservative at heart. and you're not just going to stand there with your hand out to collect money from Hillary. Right?
Okay, fine. Just ruin my moment there. I see how you are.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act was passed by Congress in 2005, and it provides immunity to gun manufacturers and dealers resulting from the criminal or lawful misuse of firearms. Stripping gun manufacturers of that immunity raises the possibility that they would be sued out of business, which is what Hillary, as an anti-gun advocate, wants to begin with. This is what she considers reasonable. And why does she consider it reasonable and common sense? Because it promotes her agenda of shutting down gun manufacturing in the United States, which would, over time, through attrition, do away with guns altogether. You see where it's going, folks? She doesn't want to say she's anti-gun. She just wants to tell you that she wants all these common sense measures and these reasonable regulations, because she knows that if they all get acted on and imposed, then she's done her job. She just has to buy time. She will have effectively done away with the Second Amendment. All right. Now, in case you didn't join us at the top of the hour, I want to go ahead and mention one more time that in 2 weeks from tonight, we will be having former Madison Rising frontman Dave Bray live on the program. We have a confirmation from his folks. We will have Dave Bray on June 22nd, right here on the Conservative Curmudgeon Show. And if you listen to our show regularly, you'll hear him every week, because that is him singing the theme song that intros my show. That's right, folks. I chose it. I've been a fan for a while. I am so psyched to have Dave Bray coming on live that we're even going to break a little more glass right now. So we're going to take a commercial break here in just a minute. And when we come back, we're going to move on to the next story, and we'll tease it by saying that Obama did it 30 times this past week. That's right. When we come back, what did Obama do 30 times this past week? I bet you smart people know that number is special and can figure out what it is before we get back from commercial.
Well,
so
if it was Bill Clinton, I'd have a guess, but it's not Bill Clinton, so I'll have to wait and see.
So it's not Bill Clinton, and I don't believe Bill Clinton can do that 30 times in a week anymore. Have you seen him lately? If the bags of his were any better, you'd see the Samsonite logo.
Ouch.
All right. Well, we're going to hit commercial break, folks. Sit tight. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Oh, but ain't that America for you and me? Ain't that America? Something to see, baby. Ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
The treatment doesn't get any better than what you receive at St. Jude. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
For writers and public personalities, it's becoming increasingly important to have an online presence. This normally takes the form of a website and social media. However, things like a cluttered site or broken links can scare potential readers away. It's time to get a health check. Until the 30th of June, Black Wolf Editorial Services is offering a special website health check package. Get a new bio for your site. Have the site navigation and general layout assessed. Get a review of your Twitter activities. Get an objective opinion about your public Facebook page. Find out what works well and what could potentially scare your readers away. And all this for $35. At the end of the day, the face we put online will be the one that most people will see. Let us help you put your best foot forward. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For full details and a list of other services, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
The treatment doesn't get any better than what you receive at St. Jude. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Oh, but ain't that America? You and me, ain't that America? Something to see, baby, ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah.
All right, welcome back. Glad you stuck around. We're going to round this hour out, and we're going to drive it home like we own it outright. And before we do, we just want to make sure that we clear the path because, oh, look, here it comes. It's the Trump train. Yeah, that's right. He doesn't get a real train whistle. He's a clown. He is a clown. I'm sorry. You know, he is. Like I said, show me the other candidate, and I'm there.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
That's right. And definitely don't pay attention to the hair. God help us. I'm just wondering if there's a family of badgers that lives in there. Anyway, okay. So before we went to break, I told you that Obama did something 30 times last week. And did you figure out what it was?
Violated the Constitution?
Did you say violate the Constitution?
Yes.
Yeah, I suppose that we could actually make an argument for that answer being correct. I was looking for something a little more specific, but here's what he's done. Okay? He has arranged to release 30 more Gitmo detainees. So 30 separate instances of Obama setting terrorists loose on the world again.
30 terrorists.
We could call that aiding and abetting, or aiding and abetting the enemy. I mean, couldn't we? Couldn't that technically be construed as treason?
Nobody's got the stones for that anymore, dude. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, the Obama administration, in their estimate, is running out of time and options to close Guantanamo Bay Detention Center in Cuba. They're scrambling to release as many prisoners as possible and considering novel legal strategies that include allowing some men to strike plea deals. They're going to let them plea by video teleconference and sending others to foreign countries to be prosecuted. But it looks like it's going to be a little too late to close the prison before Obama leaves office in January, denying him the chance to fulfill a campaign pledge. You see, there's difficulty in transferring prisoners from the U.S. base in Cuba. Questions about the legality of plea deals and solid opposition in Congress to anything that might help Obama achieve that promise. The clock has struck midnight and the American people have won, said Senator Cory Gardner of Colorado, who has said he would oppose any effort to move detainees to prison facilities in his state. And they were looking at Colorado heavily for about 40 of those people, I believe it was. Gardner went on to say that the president needs to admit this. Later this month, lawmakers are on track to extend a ban on moving detainees to U.S. soil. That would leave the president with no way to make the January 2017 deadline, barring an unexpected reversal in Congress or a politically explosive executive order. The White House increasingly is pointed to a parallel strategy, trying to shrink the number of detainees in hopes of persuading lawmakers that Guantanamo is too expensive to sustain as a prison. Of the 80 detainees, 30 have been cleared for an overseas transfer. This is the 30 I was referring to. Most will leave starting in late June and continuing into July, according to a U.S. official. Those prisoners are going to go to a number of different countries, including at least one country in Europe. Interesting. This U.S. official, of course, spoke on the condition of anonymity because he knew his hiney was in the sling for leaking this information. So 7 additional detainees are facing trial by military commission, including 5 charged with planning and supporting the September 11 attacks. 3 others have been convicted, but commission proceedings have gone on a glacial pace. And in case you don't know what that is slower than molasses.
Not according to the climate change, guys. Those things melt all the time, man.
Exactly, man. I thought the glaciers were gone, man. But in April, the Pentagon put forward some fresh proposals. Like Kool and the Gang said, fresh, exciting for Guantanamo. But none has been incorporated into defense legislation moving through Congress. The remaining 40 were either at one time considered for prosecution or held as indefinite law of war detainees until the end of hostilities in the fight against terrorism that began after the 2001 attacks. The United States started using Guantanamo for suspects in January of 2002. At its peak, the facility held about 680 prisoners. It says U.S. officials, but we can just scratch that and say the Obama administration has chipped away at those numbers through the Periodic Review Board, a multi-agency task force, a multi-jurisdictional task force that conducts parole-style hearings for men once deemed too dangerous to release. Because everybody knows that after they get to sit in Cuba for a little while and stew in their own juices and then get turned back to their radical Islamic roots, that everything's going to be cool because they'll have had the Caribbean vacation of a lifetime and they won't want to fight anymore, right? So holding more than 20 of these reviews so far this year, outcomes are leaning heavily in prisoners' favor. Oh, go figure. If the government keeps up its current pace of about 2 per week, it wouldn't complete hearings, much less arrange for transfers, until December. The U.S. also is working with other governments to prosecute some detainees overseas, said the U.S. official. I hate using that word. We're just going to say the Obama administration lackey. These could be prisoners accused of conduct outside the U.S. involving offenses against citizens of other countries, which would mean that Obama's basically going to give them a free pass on their crimes against America and Americans and let the other countries have jurisdiction. So basically, screw you people. It doesn't really matter what you think or want. I'm doing this because I'm the king. Anyway. It would otherwise be difficult or impossible to prosecute these men in an American court. One possible example would be Mohammed Abdul Malik Bajabu, a 42-year-old Kenyan accused of involvement in plots in Mombasa in November of 2002, an attack on an Israeli-owned hotel in which 13 people died and an unsuccessful attempt to shoot down an Israeli airliner occurred. The official declined to identify any specific cases, but said there could be 5 to 10 in all. The defense bill up for debate in the Senate soon includes a provision that would allow detainees to enter guilty pleas via video teleconference in federal civilian courts. If a judge accepts the plea, nod, nod, wink, wink, after a call from the administration, the detainee would be sentenced and transferred to serve that sentence in a foreign prison. In conversations with advocates, White House officials have said that the Justice Department, or the Injustice Department, has reservations about such guilty plea proposals. Chief among the concerns is whether the judge could accept the guilty plea as entered by the defendant knowingly and voluntarily, a bedrock principle of the American criminal justice system, while there is no mechanism in place to stand trial. The prisoner's only other choice is continued indefinite detention. The White House has not taken a position, but suggested it is receptive to the idea. The president believes it is important that we have available to us a variety of tools at our disposal, said National Security Council spokesman Miles Kaggans, in a statement which also noted that federal courts have outstanding records of handling terrorism cases. Ramzi Kassem, a lawyer who has represented many Guantanamo prisoners over the years, including 3 still held, said the ability to strike a plea deal in federal court would benefit relatively few detainees. He said the renewed administration interest in closing the prison is hard to take seriously now. Well, go figure. He said those efforts and that kind of resolve should have been shown over the course of the 8 years of the Obama administration and not in its final moments. This is because Kassem is a sympathizer, folks. That's why he represents these scumbags down there. You can say what you want to, blah, 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 blah. They need their legal representation. They have rights. They don't have rights. They don't have rights. They're not Americans. They're not entitled to our constitutional rights. They're pigs and they should be treated as such. Put them in a pen until they die. Anyway. Okay. Now, here's a big thing this is between now and November, with our presumptive nominees. By the way, who came up with that idiotic nomenclature? Look at the word presumptive in the dictionary, and even the dictionary is weak on it, okay? Because it uses the root of the word to define the word. That's a cop-out, okay? So from now on, this show will not use the word presumptive when referring to the candidates for presidency in this election cycle. They are the nominees, unless, folks, if you believe in prayer, join me for this one, okay? That the earth opens up and swallows both Hillary and Trump. Okay? Let's do that. But anyway, this is going to be a huge deal between now and November. And I can tell you now that Trump does not even have to be a genius for this, because it has fallen in his lap. Oh, excuse me. If he doesn't pick this up and hit Hillary over the head with it until her skull is mush, like a caveman with a club, then he's nothing more than Bernie Sanders in a more expensive suit. Okay? And I say that because Bernie, if anybody recalls, back when Bernie declared his candidacy, he said, "I've been around D.C. for 35 years, and I know all of Hillary and Bill's secrets, and I'm going to use every one of those secrets to defeat them." Well, guess what, Bernie? You didn't use any of them, and you got your ass handed to you. Way to go. But I've been in D.C. for 35 years, and I'm an outsider still. No, you're part of the problem. Anyway, the problem is as the State Department is fending off criticism over the censoring of a briefing video, the State Department is justifying a former spokeswoman's February 2013 denial that the U.S. and Iranian officials had held talks by saying, quote, "She had no knowledge at that date that we were conducting bilateral talks with Iran." Okay, now hang with me here for a minute. Days before former spokeswoman Victoria Nuland made that denial, Vice President Joe Biden is on the record as saying that there were such talks to be held with the Iranians and that we would not make it a secret, referring to the administration. Speaking at the Munich Security Conference on February 2nd, 2013, Biden said the administration's position remained that we would be prepared to meet bilaterally with the Iranian leadership. We would not make it a secret that we were doing that, he said. We would let our partners know if that occasion presented itself. 4 days later, my man James Rosen at Fox News, and folks, if there's still one good reason to watch Fox News, it's for James Rosen. He asked Nuland at a press briefing if rumors of, quote, direct, secret bilateral talks with Iran were true. Nuland replied, "With regard to the kind of thing that you're talking about on a government-to-government level, no." Yet despite both Nuland's denial and Biden's assurance of transparency, preliminary talks between the U.S. and Iranian officials had quietly begun about 7 months earlier in July of 2012 in Oman. Leading the talks on the U.S. side were Jake Sullivan and his then capacity as a top aide to Secretary of State Hillary Clinton,
was
Yeah. But at the time of Biden's comments, the vice president's national security advisor, Puneet Talwar, like to get that name run against the Muslim Brotherhood membership, a White House advisor on Iran. Neither Congress nor key allies were informed about those talks until later. On December 11th, 2013, good God, a year and a half later, Talwar told Senate Foreign Relations Committee nomination hearing that the first talks took place in the summer of 2012. Okay, so the first talks took place in 2012, but Newland denied that such talks were ongoing in February of 2013.
But Trump has a magic sauce.
Yes, magic sauce, exactly.
My bad. That wasn't on purpose. I opened up something and it started playing automatically.
It worked perfectly. Magic sauce to go on the magic lie. Hey, I know. Let's blame it on a freaking YouTube video. How about that one? So, as usual, my man Rosen is all over this, okay? And he's pounding them with the timeline, and they're just dissing him like he was, hell, Alex Jones at what's the word I'm looking for? Crap. Can't even think of the word I'm looking for now. Never mind.
A UFO convention?
At a what?
UFO convention? I don't know.
No. What's damn it! What do they strap you up to tell if you're lying?
Lie detector?
Yeah, but what's the word? Polygraph.
Polygraph. There we go.
Damn polygraph machine convention. You know, they all. You can strap Alex Jones into any polygraph, okay? And you know what? He's going to pass the test. You know why? Because he actually believes all of his bullshit. He absolutely believes it wholeheartedly. He will pass every lie detector test. But that's only because his brain has been warped by microwaves and tinfoil. But anyway, neither Congress nor key allies were informed about those talks until later, when Talwar told the commission that the talks took place in the summer of 2012. He said, I was a member of a preparatory exploratory team. I think somebody screwed my notes up. A preparatory exploratory. Wow. Who wrote that crap?
I gave you 3 guesses and the first 2 don't count.
Yeah, I think I can do it even on the 2 that don't count. Hello, mirror. Anyway, so Talwar was part of this exploratory team that met with the Iranians on a couple of occasions to see if they could get talks going on the nuke program. Basically, you remember what happened with that, right? Obama's administration bent over, kissed its own ass, and Iran has nukes now. They say, Talwar went on to say, we met with the Iranians in Oman last summer. We had another meeting in March of this year. At that Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing, Senator Marco Rubio asked Talwar about Congress having been left out of the loop. Okay. Rubio's question was, in the conversations you and your colleagues had in this back channel with Iran, did you brief the chairman or ranking member of this committee about those talks, or did anyone brief them about those talks? I did not, Talwar said. I do not know if that occurred. I do not believe so. Asked whether any members of Congress were briefed at all about these talks at any point, Talwar replied, again, I cannot speak for everybody, but from my perspective, I do not believe that there were discussions. So Yeah, this is the administration telling Congress to piss up a rope. The talks with Iran began when Clinton was Secretary of State. As the Democratic presidential candidate has reminded voters while campaigning, Secretary of State John Kerry succeeded Clinton on February 1st, 2013, a day before Biden's comments in Munich and 5 days before Nuland's denial. So Representative Matt Salmon of Arizona says, it turns out that your department intentionally misled the American people about these negotiations taking place behind closed doors. There is no doubt about this. None at all. Clinton was Secretary of State while these talks began and were ongoing. What she is trying to say is that because Biden didn't make the comment until the day after Kerry took over, that she wasn't obligated to show that transparency to anybody. Again, Mrs. Clinton forgets who the government works for. That's us. She's making it work for her in the form of heavy donations to her family's foundation, but we need to take that power back, folks. Now, Kerry replied, honestly, I'd have to go back and check. I became Secretary of State, I think, February 1st. I'm not sure what was said then and not said exactly or what the state of play was. Yeah. That's my impersonation of an Easter Island head talking. Anyway. So, you know, the timing of the talks, of the early talks with Iran is important because they began when the government of the hardline President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was in office. His successor, Hassan Rouhani, was sworn in August of 2013. A controversial recent magazine profile of White House Deputy National Security Advisor for Strategic Communications, that would be Ben Rhodes. For those of you playing at home and scoring at home, knowing that Rhodes is part of the extended family of the White House administration and the media, says the administration presented to the American people an intentionally misleading narrative about the nuclear negotiations, linking them to the rise of Rouhani's quote-unquote moderate government in Tehran. Rouhani doesn't have anything in Tehran that the Ayatollah doesn't allow Rouhani to have, and I promise you there's nothing moderate about it. In the New York Times Magazine article, Rhodes boasted of having created an echo chamber of experts and complaint journalists to sell the Iran agreement. So blah, 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 this goes on. Basically, we've got Nuland lying some more. And then you remember the annoying little redhead chick that was at State back then, Jen Psaki? Yeah, Jen Psaki. She lied some more, too. And she lied to Rosen about it as well. And Rosen recently went back to review the exchange with Psaki and found that it had been excised from official State Department video of the briefing. How about that? And they're calling it a technical glitch. But only Rosen's exchange with Psaki. Yeah, technical glitch. All right. So anyway, we're back around to the top of the hour, folks. And it is time for me to pack it up and to take off. I do not know if I will be live next week or not yet. Please be watching Twitter. The jury that I have been selected to be a part of convenes next Wednesday in federal court in the Southern District. I will be fulfilling my obligation as a citizen of the United States in the juris process. So I don't know, but I am going to anticipate that I will make it here. Remember, 2 weeks from tonight, we have Dave Braid joining us live on the program. We're going to preview one of his new cuts. And we're going to talk to Dave about, hopefully, we're going to talk to Dave about music. We're going to talk to Dave about politics and what else might come up. But anyway, in 2 hours, you're going to get a great show with Rowdy Rick Robinson, America Off the Rails. I don't know what Rick has planned, but you always learn something with Rick. He's a smart guy. He's been doing this for a lot longer than I have. So tune in and listen right here on K98 Talk. Tomorrow night, we got office hours with Doc A and Lou. We got Game On with Stacy and JD. What else we got tomorrow night, Rick? You're tomorrow night, aren't you?
Actually, Jen will be with me as well. That's one of the nights I do the co-host show.
Okay, we'll have Rick and Jen tomorrow night. And is Jessie tomorrow night too?
We may actually start putting a replay back up for on Thursdays, but she's actually gone to live programming. Usually it's 6 Eastern.
Okay, so 6 Eastern with Jessie. All right. And that's Jessie's POV, by the way, in case you didn't know. So anyway, folks, that covers you for the rest of tonight and for tomorrow night. And I look forward to being back with you next week. As always, do your own homework. Learn your facts. You want to if I missed something or if I botched something, get with me on Twitter at TCC_Grouchy on Twitter. More than willing to have a discussion with you about it. And we'll check you out next week, folks. Take care and God bless.
Called the USA, and we fly our flag cause we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. Never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights, we're Americans. We